Hello, good morning, and welcome to Holding the Space. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Morag Wilson today. Hello, Morag, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm good. It's absolutely lovely to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to be here. It's a great honour. My gosh, I haven't done this one before, but we'll see how I get on.
Absolutely not. It'll be great fun. I'm absolutely looking forward to this because you are now an international yoga master.
Yeah, haven't got used to that one yet.
So,
I think possibly what that means to me is it's not so much me. I think it gives credibility to my teacher training school and to the certificates that my teachers hold, and that's more for me than anything.
Tell us about your teacher training school, because I remember you having a very vague conversation with me about a few years ago about this and how it was just an idea at the time, which is now a reality with fully qualified, well-qualified yoga teachers out practicing.
It isn't the first school that I've been involved in. The school that I trained with, I was a support tutor with them for maybe a couple of years. And then a group of us formed the Anahata School of Yoga. And I did maybe one full course with them, which was a 2-year course, then another one. And I know that the director kept that going for quite a few years. So there's quite a few people in Fife were trained many years ago in Anahata School of Yoga. And because of family commitments and being on my own with my children by this time, it was just a bit too much for me. So therefore, came away from teacher training and really had to build up my own yoga work to help support myself and my family. And it took me into incredible areas, Lisa. I mean, I didn't just teach yoga classes. I was working with professional athletes, Olympians, educators, health board in Fife. I did a lot of work with them. What was the health board in Fife at that time? And mental health conferences for quite a few years. I can't go into me now. For quite a few years. And that would be maybe standing up in front of maybe 200, 300 people and giving techniques of yoga, but not postures that you would see in classes, just different various techniques that I learned through my yoga therapy, because I trained as a yoga teacher, which was a 2-year course, which went on to quite a bit more in yoga therapy. So blending those two things together really allowed me to take yoga into a very wide spectrum.
I think listening to you as a student of your yoga class, your knowledge is absolutely phenomenal, has to be said. Because when you make a statement, you back it up with so much experience.
I think as a child I was very inquiring. And I am very inquiring. I need to know why something happens, why you're doing that. I think that probably has come into me with my yoga as well. And that's the way I've trained my own teachers. Ask questions. If I don't know, I'll find out. But keep asking questions, because I have a very inquiring mind. And that's what I do. That's what I've always done. Yoga for me it grounded me. One of my friends today said to me, because I worked with her before I became a yoga teacher, before I did yoga, and she says, "You were a whirlwind." She meant that in a very grounded way. I think she meant, "No, you were off the planet a little bit." I did sales and marketing, and I ran big departments and things. So that was my background. So you can imagine, it's a busy life.
Intense life, I'd imagine.
Very intense. So that was the way my head was. And yoga it took a wee while, I have to say. This didn't happen overnight, to get me to feel much more grounded. And just through experience over the years and working in so many different avenues, it did help me to have to say, you need to come back to yourself at times. If not, you would burn out.
Do you feel like looking back at that, at the businesswoman, if you like, looking at yourself now, it's almost like looking back at another person?
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. And always evolving. I think we are always evolving. We have to remember that. We are not who we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah. And people say, well, you don't change. I don't agree with that statement at all. I think anyone can almost push the pause button and restart. Because our mind can shift. You can have a shift of consciousness. And when you have a shift of consciousness, you can leave behind you things that you thought were right. But they're no longer who you are as a person. Yes, they're there, they're sitting in the background, but they do not define you. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm getting a sense that that's very much a philosophy that you extend to students coming to your yoga school.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an opportunity for another.
Yeah, I think every human being on the planet has a right to put the pause button on and restart and think, I wouldn't do things that way. It still is part of who you are, but it's part of your learning. It's part of what you have evolved from to help you shift. And I think this is a time to shift.
I think when you were speaking there, I just got the pause button. We're in the middle of a pause button at the moment. Absolutely. A gigantic pause button.
Absolutely. A gigantic pause button. And I was saying that even in my meditation group last night. You were there. This is a time to stop, to take stock of who we are and decide, do we come out of here the same, or do you come out of here having a change of consciousness? Or do you just go on the way you were? Personally, I don't feel the world can go on the way it was.
You do get that sense, don't you?
There has to be a change. There has to be a change of consciousness. If not, we will never get over this. We have hurdles in our lives. All of us have hurdles. And you can choose either to go through the hurdle or jump across it. Or the hurdle can stop you. And we have that choice. And it's a given right to all of us to make that change. Or choose not to, maybe for that time, maybe not that time for that change. But I remember being taught, sometimes you've just got to turn and look at yourself in the mirror.
Which is not the easiest thing to do.
Not at all.
And it's almost, because at the moment, this, if you like, global pause button, it's almost like the world is getting forced to look in the mirror. And it's not an easy process.
Not at all. And I don't say that lightly at all. This is a huge process. And I don't think you even do it once. I think you have quite a few times you're having to look in the mirror. And sometimes you go, oh, I don't like that. I need to change this. If I don't change this, the outcome's not going to be good. So you have to sit back. But this is where meditation comes in. I always say meditation is always mediating with yourself. You're coming back to yourself. And you cannot really do deep meditation until you move your body. You've got to move your physical body. You have to move your physical body in order to release the tension, the patterns. You have to work with breath because you're a body-mind, and that's your bridge between your mind and your body is your breath. And through this time just now, it's all about breath. So interesting. It's all about breath, and not breathing correctly can lead us into different health issues, but the mind doesn't come still. If you're breathing fast, you cannot slow the mind down. It isn't possible to slow the mind down, to step back and to press that pause button.
Do you feel that's how coronavirus has affected yourself, Morag? Is it like that? relearning of what you already knew?
Reminding.
Reminding, yeah.
Reminding, not relearning, but reminding,
Mm-hmm.
because we forget and we get caught up in the rush. And I can easily see myself like, right, come on, come back, sit. You're rushing. And especially with the teacher training school, massive amount of work goes into setting up, let alone running it. And all the things and the responsibility of that. Because you are responsible for helping these people find who they are through techniques, the ancient techniques of yoga. So being able to learn that and deliver that to them and put it over in a way that it's not going to sound strange and a bit frightening, but in a way that it can be practically learned and put over to other people. Because they've got to then put it into their thought process, work with it, learn it deeply, practice it before delivering it. And I have to say, I'm incredibly proud of the teachers that have come from the Jyoti Yoga school, you know, and for those that helped through that process, helped me or helped them, helped the teachers develop into becoming those types of yoga teachers. But at the end of the day, they have to make that choice for themselves. They have to work at it. And it's a forever learning. You don't get that bit of paper and walk out the door and go, yeah, I'm a yoga teacher, I can now take on the world. Because it's a process. Because all the time when you're teaching, you too are learning.
I hear an enormous sense of pride when you talk about yourself. Right, so
for the teachers, because I get wonderful feedback of our teachers that are going out, but they put a lot of work into it. And this isn't the journey of the yoga teacher with Jyoti Yoga isn't a walk in the park. And I don't make light of that at all. It's hard work because they have to learn so much and take it in and deal with the practical side of it, but also the change that happens when they too are learning all of this. And we go through every emotion when that's happening.
When you're speaking the word, it very much reminds me of my counselling training. When you talk about the processes of learning of yourself, because before you sit in front of a client, you need to make sure that you're okay. So
absolutely,
so that there is that process of learning, which, like you say, sometimes can be easy, but it's very freeing. It's absolutely freeing. Now, in terms of I know that you've started Morag Zoom Yoga, and you're offering Zoom classes online, which is keeping a lot of people sane, including myself. Thank you very much. What's that like for you? That change in process.
Do you want the truth? When I started, my poor son, I think he's maybe lost some hair and gone grey at the age of 29, trying to help me get this. If anyone that knows me, and my teachers will listen to this and they will laugh, it's like, where's my glasses? Oh gosh, how do I get this on? What do I do with this? Oh gosh, I don't like this technology. And we have an online manual, and I trust my daughter to run that off for me. You know, it's sort of things like that. So being on my own here and thinking, how do I do this? I don't even know where to start. And my son's just finishing his BSc in software computer programming, which is really good. In the middle of exams, his mother goes, I need to set up all of this. And I could just imagine him going, oh gosh, no. No, please, not just now. But I needed to get this done. And I'll be very honest, it took a lot of tears. Probably sometimes of him having to go off and just breathe, and me in tears thinking, I can't do this. And then having to say, stop Why are you doing this?